We're going on a road trip. Today we take Route 51 north to the Highway 8 exit and travel east toward Rhinelander, then north of town on Highway 17, and onto a gravel surface that takes us to Spider Lake Road. And there, among towering pine trees and hemlock, we find two log guard towers and an image of a tent with a smiling face and a crown. For this is Camp Tesomas, where camping is king.
High above Lake Crystal's waters, in among the trees, flows the banner of Tesomas, waving in the breeze.
Chief came to us as the scout executive from Chippewa Falls, and in 1935 they had a sort of a camp that Ben Heineman Lumber Company allowed them to use in the Harrison Hills. Chief took one look at this and said, my boys are not going to go there. Now you got to remember, there was no electricity out to Tesomas, and the well was hand-driven. There were no cabins in 35. Chief got the National Guard to let us use the old World War I parameter tents, and that's what was at Tesomas, a lodge and a bunch of tents. And in this time, the lodge at Tesomas was built.
Well, the camp started out very small. The first year it operated was 1935, but prior to that time, it had been several very small camps, and our council as it is now is a combination of two councils. There was an old Samoset council, but there was also another council which consisted of Wood and Portage counties, and they had their own camp and we had a camp Samoset.
By 1936, the Pioneer Camp, which is still the buildings of Kit Carson, Davy Crockett, Daniel Boone are still there, and those are the half logs from the lumber yard. In other words, there's no cost was involved. Right along with those cabins were the blockhouses, which were built by these campers at Tesomas. I mean, they did this while they were campers. This was not hired labor. All boys at that time slept inside of a cabin. No, there were no tennies. This was during the Depression years, and it was a little colder and a little hotter and a little wetter than it is now.
Tesomas began to attract national attention. Walt Disney designed the camp's logo, allegedly after his artists sketched some of the scenes for Bambi nearby. And there was a visit by President Dwight David Eisenhower.
We've had a quality staff ever since day one. And without the staff, we wouldn't have the program. And without the program, we wouldn't have people coming here from out of state and other councils.
I've seen a lot of camps. I've gone over a lot of parts of the country, and I've seen some good camps and I've seen some bad camps. And the thing I like about Tesomas is that they know who their audience is. That a lot of camps, in spite of the fact that they say they're for the kids, they think their audience is the adults.
Some councils have not been able to have their own council camp, and they have closed them, and our camp has continued to grow, and it's been regionally as well as nationwide recognized as a quality camp. Most of those people that come from Illinois and Indiana, Iowa, don't have that luxury of having nature about them, and boys do like to camp out in the woods.
One of the most beautiful memories of my life is hearing taps played at night, and then when you would hear it reverberate or echo, it was just one of those experiences that very few people have and can cherish.
Imagine that you're in a circle in the middle of the woods, towering hemlock and pine all around, and this huge wooden structure is set on fire, flames going up 50, 100 feet in the air, And meanwhile, 3 warrior braves are running through the stands, dragging people into the middle of the circle where they are initiated and taken off to the side. There are dances, warrior braves clashing in the middle of the circle, all with the flames arching on up, and it's something if you've never seen it.
My greatest memory is still my father, who people say, oh, he was a Boy Scout executive. He was an administrator, and the boys looked up to him as chief of this council. But he had the ability to get people to want to give, because he came here without a camp and left Tesomas with a 750-acre camp, all under roof.
Well, I felt the warm breeze of Dixie, and I've seen the northern snowfall, and still of the distance I travel, Tesomas is the greatest of all. And if I could go back to somewhere, of all of the somewheres I've been, well, I would return to Tesomas, 'cause I want your experience again. Take me to Camp Tesomas, where leadership is born in the air. Take me to Camp Tesomas, for friendships will last a lifetime there. Well, I took that boy down the pathway, and I brought back the man that you see. Though I left some dreams at the lakeside, I now know my destiny. And if there's a chance you still need me, and if there's some room for us to grow, well, I will return to Tesomas and share with you how scouting's made me whole. Take me to Camp Tesomas, where leadership is born in the air. Take me to Camp Tesomas, where friendships will last a lifetime there. For friendships will last a lifetime there.
High above Lake Crystal's waters, in among the trees, flows the banner of Tesomas, waving in the breeze. Hail Tesomas, hail Tesomas, with your scouts so true, with the spirit of good scouting. Hail, oh hail to you.
I had a district commissioner mother and a cub master father and 2 brothers in scouts. And the one thing I remembered the most was the ceremonies they would have.
I went to camp when the price tag was a mere $6.50 a week.
And that camp had great influence on him as well. Not only my son Adam, but that whole crew of guys that were up there with him.
You know, they had a wonderful experience, and they've all turned out to be successful young adults. And I attribute a lot of that to that camp.
I love scouting. It's been a big part of my life. That of my father, my grandson, 3 of them, and of course our son, who was on staff here for 7 years.
I was a staff member at the camp in 1957 and 58, and it was a beautiful, wonderful experience for me, and I have benefited from it in so many ways, and even in my administrative, managerial role that I have now.
The lifelong experiences of getting to become an Eagle Scout embodies learning and practicing the Scout Oath law, motto, and slogan. But beyond that, it's learning leadership through actual hands-on, so to speak, leading those of his own age and younger.
But the experience was such a wonderful part of my growing up.
We are fortunate what we have, and we must take care of it, because without doing that, it won't be here for coming generations. So it's important to those of us that are here now, but very significant to those that are coming.
There is no price that can be placed on what they've learned in these woods.
With the spirit of good scouting, hail, all hail to you.
I just wish every kid in the United States could live in the Rhinelander area and have a chance to go to Camp Tesomas. It's such a great place.
You know, of all the camps in the world, of all the camps we've been to, and we've been to Yellowstone, to South Dakota, to everywhere around that we could go, this is the best. And I can't thank the staff enough for making it the way it is for my kids.
We have a responsibility to maintain what we have and improve on it for the future. That's a legacy that we must pass on.
There's only one Tesomas in America, that's it.
Thank you, Lord, for this special place where we can make new friends and old ones embrace. A chance to share a dream and experience too. Lord, for Tesomas we thank you. Lord, for Tesomas